Howdy everyone, today we're going to be using a Dragon Cheer team because Dragon Cheer is finally unbanned in VGC. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and if you want to see more Dragon Cheer content with all of these different options, as Dragon Cheer Koraidon is still a pretty good option that we have not yet covered. Leave a like in the video and subscribe for more, as I'm going to be uploading, at least trying, daily VGC content. We'll see how this goes. This is a Dragon Cheer spam team. I actually found this through James Beck, who found this through another Twitter user. So I'm going to link both of their stuff down below, as I think it's best to probably just link both of them. I found the team through James, who found it through someone else, so it doesn't make sense to not showcase that as well. But it is a pretty interesting team built around Dragon Cheer Koraidon team, as there's a lot of different dragons here, obviously, that can abuse it, such as Gouging Fire that sets it and also can abuse it from Roaring Moon. These are our two Dragon Cheer setters, as they can boost the 2x crit rate on Raging Bolt, Gouging Fire, Roaring Moon, and Koraidon. And two of our options being Roaring Moon and Koraidon both have options to increase crit rate, which is huge. With this, essentially, we can try and farm through opponents and use their high offensive stats and really just enable these as actual damage dealers. With the Terra Steel and Roaring Moon, this makes it into a much more offensive threat, as well as the Terrifying Koraidon, allowing that to be decent offensive, while handling not only their common checks, but also just allowing them to just really get an extra stab that will be very powerful when we are guaranteed critting. On top of this, we still have Gouging Fire, which is a great damage mitigator. I found this to be a bit more of the common Dragon Cheer user, but it is still really good nonetheless at damage mitigation. And then Raging Bolt is mostly here for priority. It is decent into a lot of these rain teams that might otherwise counter. Amoonguss is here mostly for Spore, and you might be wondering why Yachi Berry, because the first thought is immediately going for Ice Rider Calyrex, and I actually had a thought in the video. You'll see it yourself when I immediately questioned that. But then I realized it's actually for Ice Beam Kyogre, which is a really good bring, in fact, because even Specs Kyogre doesn't really do much, and it doesn't force you to Terra, which is cool. Finally, though, we do have a Taunt Fluttermane, which is mostly here for helping Trick Your matchup, and it's a great Sun Abuser as well as a good speed mitigation, especially for these Koraidon or Miraidon teams that might speed tie. That's a really huge deal. If you want to try out the team yourself, of course, the rental is on screen here, as well as the paste in the description below. And with that said, let's get into today's battles. All right, we are taking on an Ice Rider team. This is interesting. I'm going to guess this is a Decorate Smeargle or maybe like a Wide Guard Smeargle. I know with Ice Rider in particular, that's kind of the big reason you run Smeargle over another option like Pergraph, for example, as it does allow a lot of really nice support. Because into teams with Frigs, for example, that you can't really go for the Fake Out option on, you still have options like Spore and potentially even just Decorate just to lean into the offensive damage in case they're trying to go for more supportive options like Imprison. So that Smeargle does give me a little bit concerned. I think that honestly I could probably just lead off with the Dragon Cheer duo, because Koraidon should massacre this team. I do need to be a bit careful, specifically of Fake Out, but I can play around that for sure. I can even actually go with Koraidon and Gouging Fire actually for that. And I think that'll be a bit better of an option here. We'll go with Roaring Moon in the back though. I think that'll be decent. And then for our fourth Mon here, we're gonna go with Amoonguss. This is mostly in case they get up Trick Room, as that could be decent for their Ice Rider. And I think that we should be in a good spot. I think realistically, Gouging Fire and Koraidon does so much damage here that I'm really not too concerned with this. So I just kind of need to be a little bit conscious of that. And I mean a little bit conscious in the most like literal way of the word, just teensy bit careful of what my opponent can do here. So good luck and fun to my opponent. They're gonna lead off with the Calyrex and the Smeargle. Who'da thunk it? We're just gonna lean heavily into our let's see, so I'm not sure. So my play here would kind of depend on how much my opponents play around this comp, because in theory I feel like my play is actually just to go for the immediate Dragon Cheer here plus the Protect, because that way then I can ensure that Calyrex doesn't just KO me on the spot, and I get my high crit rate, which should guarantee the kill. Let me just double check really quickly. I just need to double check a mechanic. Dragon Cheer Pokemon. I just need to make sure this goes through Protect. Not affected by Protect. Yeah, okay. So I go for Dragon Cheer here. That way then I can make sure that if my opponent goes for the Fake Out on my Gouging Fire, which is pretty fair, I think that there's a good chance they do. They don't really kill. Then on the following turn, I can proceed to just go for a Drain Punch into that Ice Rider with the Terra Fire, just to make sure I'm taking these hits properly. And then I should be pretty good. They're most likely going to Fake Out Koraidon. If they Fake Out into the Gouging Fire, it's not a huge concern. Yep, they're going to Fake Out into Koraidon. Okay, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I just needed to do this more so to avoid dying to Glacial Lance on this turn while I am trying to get the Dragon Cheer up. I'm confident Gouging Fire will take the hit, especially just to make sure. I am going to go for a Breaking Swipe here, because I think it'll just be a nice, like, comfortable click. Okay. Oh, they're going to go for Glacial Lance immediately. Oh, then maybe I just go for I'll probably just go for I'll go for the Breaking Swipe plus the Drain Punch. And I'll go for Terra Fire as well. Just really lean into damage. Even if Smeargle drags us in, that's perfectly fine. They're going to definitely Lance me 100% this turn, so my goal is just to avoid dying to Lance. And with the crit, that should be huge, especially considering Koraidon gets a massive attack bump. So this crit Drain Punch should be a great way to recover health back. At least, not in this turn necessarily, but definitely on the turn after it will be great. Smeargle might go for Follow Me as they go for Trick Room. I'm not too sure. Yep, they're going to go for Follow Me. They're probably clicking Trick Room here, which I'm perfectly fine with for that matter, because we get a lot of information on this turn. If that's not a Clear Amulet Calyrex, for example, this is a great turn for us. They are Clear Amulet, that's perfectly valid. At minimum, we can at least take on the Calyrex a little bit better now, because one of its best supports is now off the field. I'll probably need to just go for Protect here. Oh, they're going for Horsepower. Okay, they're kind of psychotic, but I'll take it. I'll definitely take that, because that is actually very huge for me. Because I can now proceed to go into... I think I just go into my Roaring Moon here. And my Roaring Moon can kind of claim a kill. I don't really know what they're going to go into here that will actually properly pressure me. But my Koraidon should be really strong. Perfect. They're going to go into Cresselia. That's honestly fine. I think I just go for the Drain Punch into the Calyrex and go for Knockoff into Cresselia. If they go for Ally Switch, it's not the biggest deal in the world, because at minimum, I'll still get off some serious damage in that Ice Rider with Knockoff, especially considering I can still crit. Like, I know I don't have a Dragon Cheer off, but I can still get a crit with this move. It is still possible. And even then, if they're clicking Ally Switch, it's probably the least of my concern here, frankly, because it means that they're not clicking Trick Room, so that's kind of huge. Either that or they're clicking Ally Switch plus Trick Room, which gives me options to potentially put up good 50-50s into that Cali. So I'm not really too scared. Also, most likely one of my mons will die. I'm going to prefer that it will be Roaring Moon, though I will try and play around potentially them not killing Roaring Moon just in case by spamming things like Knockoff. Perfect. They're not going to go for Ally Switch, so that's great. That's already huge damage into that Cresselia. That's like nearly half right there. And can we get the crit? We do get the crit. That does nothing though. My goodness. They're going to Lance. It's fine. I'm curious what the Cresselia is going to click then. But if... at minimum, if they go for a Trick Room here, I'm just gonna go for, which it does look like they're going for Trick Room, by the way. If they do go for that, I'm just gonna go for Spore, because Spore should be huge. And then Spore plus a Flare Blitz into that Cresselia just to make sure it doesn't actually get off, Lunar Blessing confidently, will be a really good play for us. Now they might just spam Lunar Blessing anyway, but even still, at minimum, I'll trade Cresselia. Actually, my play should be to Flame Charge, because one, I'm already outpacing their whole team. But more importantly, too, going for Flame Charge means that I'm not taking Recoil, which is going to be pretty decent, especially considering that they have a lot of really good offensive pieces here. Now, Zamoose will guarantee be the slowest Pokemon on the field. There is no if and or but about it. So this Calyrex is now put to sleep. At minimum, it is definitely handled this turn. It is at least handled this turn. Now, what I could also do is I could probably just go for a Rage Powder here, because by going for Rage Powder, oh no, never mind. So they do go for Lunar Blessing. Okay, then I go for Spore, because I can go for the Spore into the Calyrex, and then I can just keep going for Flame Charge into Cresselia, because that will do enough damage, especially with this high crit. In fact, I think it's actually guaranteed crit, to be fair. It's at least near guaranteed. Sweet, we kill Cress. Perfect. I can just go for the Drain Punch into whatever else comes in next. I'm confident Drain Punch will be a free click. And then in tandem with the Spore into that Calyrex, we should be dandy. They're gonna go for Ursaluna. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Then yeah, I'm gonna go for a Drain Punch plus a Spore. Oh, I'll go for Protect immediately, and then I'll go for the Spore into Calyrex, and then I'll proceed to go for a Follow Me on Amoonguss. Well, sorry, Rage Powder on Amoonguss plus the Drain Punch into the Ursaluna, assuming they don't click Protect this turn. If they don't Protect this turn, then I'll probably just attack the Calyrex instead and go for Rage Powder. But if they go for Protect this turn, then I am going to go for the Ursaluna just to make sure I kill it, while the Cali is most likely sustained at least for one single turn. So we'll do that, especially with a Rage Powder. I mean, I'll be fine. And I can Salt through Trick Room potentially afterwards. So we're looking good here so far. I know that we're down, well, technically we're actually tied 2-2 right now, but I still feel like we have the matchup advantage here, especially considering the fact, oh, they didn't go for Protect on Ursa, that's fine. Because at minimum, Cali's asleep, and I think there's a very good chance that they just targeted my Koraidon here, anticipating a Spore, which if they did that, that's perfectly fine. If they didn't do that, Amoonguss will definitely survive any hit, and I can confidently just go for Rage Powder. They're gonna go for Headlong into Koraidon. Okay, that's perfect, yeah. I don't think Ursa kills Max Fizdef with Headlong. Okay. Let's see. So what's my play here? Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna go for a Drain Punch here into the Calyrex. And I'm gonna go for a Rage Powder here on my Amoonguss. There's a good chance that this Calyrex is asleep. If it wakes up first turn, not a lot I could do about that. But my play should always be to make this, because at least I can definitely have the Calyrex beat the Ursaluna 1v1. They actually woke up first turn. They're gonna go for Lance. Okay, Lance is fine. I think Koraidon takes that still. Yep, perfect. Just barely takes it. Oh fuck, right. We still die to Ursa. God damn it. Okay, first turn wake up fucks us. It is what it is. Honestly, I don't think the crit really made a difference at all, because Ursa's just gonna claim the kill. It just needed to kill the Amoonguss, and just, the Yache Berry doesn't really matter. I will say, so I see Yache Berry on this. That is the one question I do actually have about the team, is why Yache Berry, because it doesn't work with Calyrex. This is just a rental that I stole from Twitter, so I'm really not sure. But either way, it is what it is. It's not the biggest deal in the world. First turn wake up happens, is what it is. Let's see you guys in game number 2, though. All right, for our next game today, we are taking on an Ogre Rain team with a Lecky for Rig and Blood Moon. This is interesting for sure. Now I will say there is a little bit that does kind of scare me here, specifically the fact that they have Ogre and Torn, which is technically speaking more weather setting than Koraidon. That is definitely pretty terrifying for sure. However, I feel like a lead with Raging Bolt is really strong into everything they have. I think I have to backline Koraidon, which at the very least, I don't think they have to do, because they have both Ogre and Raging Bolt here. My play will probably just always be to Volt Switch into that Ogre and not even attempt Thunderclap in case if Rig comes in hard. And then I think I go for Fluttermane, as Fluttermane can get a nice taunt off. That's really good for their Trick Room line, especially here. I'm going to go Koraidon as my backliner, and then I think I also bring my... I kind of like to do... So let's see, I kind of like the idea of going with Roaring Moon here. I feel like it's pretty difficult to KO, but at the same time, though, Gouging Fire, just having Snarl is really huge. I'm going to go with Gouging Fire, specifically because of the fact that it is, 1, Gouging Fire has the Snarl, and 2, if in theory, just Gouging Fire having any form of protect could be decent to stall through, like, Trick Room in an endgame scenario, in case if for some reason Fluttermane dies early and I can't get rid of ability to set Trick Room. So I would like that. I think overall, though, frankly, that last spot didn't really matter. It just objectively was not Amoonguss, because Amoonguss will get overwhelmed pretty easily. They're gonna lead off with a Lecky and Torn. That's honestly fine. I'm just gonna Volt Switch into the Tornadus, and then I'm gonna go for an Icy Wind here, just because that will kill Torn, and one of these is probably Sash, the other one's probably Gopher Cloak. So this is already some decent information for us. We can potentially just kill that Tornadus early on, and we can scout which one of these is Gopher Cloak. More just because if a Lecky does survive and it doesn't end up, if a Lecky survives the turn and doesn't get a speed drop, which is very confident that a Lecky will just be on the field at the end. Okay, they're gonna go for Terra. Terra Fairy, ooh. Okay, that's gonna hurt my Raging Bolt. We are Salt Vest, and for what it's worth, Raging Bolt definitely has a lot of bulk, and Regieleki's kind of weak, so maybe we take this hit, but it's gonna do a lot objectively. Now, they didn't go for any sort of priority move, which is huge here, actually. And they're gonna actually Terra Blast my Fluttermane, which means I can still get off an Icy Wind before the Tornadus does anything. They're Life Orb Lecky, which is crazy. But that's a very massive speed drop we're gonna get off. Especially when we get up the Sun, well, technically speaking, it was more so if Torn was getting up Tailwind, but this is huge either way, because the Lecky now loses its ability to go for things like Electro Web easily. So, Torn's gonna go for Bleak Wind here. It's going to miss into my Raging Bolt, which probably doesn't really matter. I can't imagine it did any serious damage. Meanwhile, my Volt Switch is gonna go off here. It kills Torn, which is already really good. That kills one of their two Weather Setters. I can proceed to go into my Gouging Fire here, as Gouging Fire does give me some nice initiative, because it allows me to still switch into my Koraidon if need be, and I can kind of just use it as that pivot piece to allow Fluttermane to deal more damage, which will be really necessary in my opinion. They're gonna probably go hard into Kyogre here if they brought it. If not, I'm anticipating most likely for Rig. They're gonna go into Kyogre. Yep, okay, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, I switch out of Gouging Fire here into my Koraidon, as Koraidon will weaken that Kyogre significantly. I'm still gonna lose Fluttermane, but I'm okay with that. And then I'm gonna go for a Moonblast into the Regieleki, mostly just because Regieleki in theory gives them another piece to swap out with, and a Lecky is probably going to be easier to KO than the Kyogre will be. Because there's no way in hell that Focus Sash Fluttermane with Terra Fairy with booster speed actually KOs Kyogre. That's ridiculous. Thankfully, I don't really need to Terra Fluttermane for this to work, so we're going to be fine. This Moonblast is going to do some serious damage, though. A Lecky cannot take that. They might go for Protect, which would be valid. I just don't think they will. Perfect. Okay, so Aleki is going to definitely drop to this. Because Icy Wind already did a good amount. I couldn't see a world where Aleki took this hit. So that means that they can't actually get a Sun advantage, well, a Weather advantage anymore, which is really good, barring some manual Rain Dance Kyogre. Now this Water Spout will hurt, but thankfully Koraidon can take it pretty comfortably due to the fact that it's Sun Up, and it is just a natural resist. I think they crit Koraidon too, which is kind of crazy there, because it just goes to show how absurd this mon is. We're going to go into Gouging Fire, because we can honestly just go for Dragon Cheer plus Drain Punch, and that should cook. Their Urshifu will do some decent damage here, but it is Single Strike, which leads me to believe they're actually probably not going to be, Scarf. They're probably Focus Sash, which means that Ogre is more likely to Scarf here. Now, what I'm going to proceed to do is I'm going to go for a Drain Punch here into the Kyogre. I feel like I need to weaken that Pokemon, and then I'm going to go for a Breaking Swipe here. I'm doubting that Urshifu is going to click something like a Sucker Punch, but if it is clicking Sucker Punch, oh, okay, sweet, they cancel. I was gonna say, it's more to like weaken Sucker Punching the endgame to potentially maybe take that on a fringe amount, but we'll take it either way. We're 1-1 for the day. Let's see you guys in our next battle. All right, for game number 3, we're taking on an Ice Rider team, which should be pretty terrifying for sure. Ice Rider has a lot going for it, but thankfully though, they have Sun as well, which is really good for us. I am anticipating a few different things, such as Scarf Final Gambit Ape here. I'm pretty confident it's actually a Scarf coaching Final Gambit Ape specifically, because I think I've actually played the team before. We're gonna lead off with Koraidon Flutter Mane. I think Koraidon Flutter Mane realistically gives us enough pieces on lead to just immediately pressure. Actually, we're Booster Speed Gouging Fire. That actually technically creeps by like 1 point because we're Max Jolly. We're gonna go with Gouging Fire instead, because that also gives Dragon Cheer potential if need be. Or I can just, actually no, never mind. We don't have a great way to hit that. Yeah, we're gonna go with Flutter Mane. We are gonna go with Gouging Fire, and Amoonguss is our backline here. I feel like that's pretty decent. Gouging Fire does still give us a nice option to just hit things with like Breaking Swipe, which for again anything that's not Urshifu or Cali will be decent. At least it's just getting a strong Dragon spread off. Roaring Moon is still decent here too. I think the issue with Roaring Moon though is it's a lot more weak to Calyrex. Like we saw in our first game of the day that Gouging Fire can take a Glacial Lance, especially without a boost. It can take one. It can take 2 even. So that's a pretty good position to be in at least. They're gonna go for Indeedee and Calyrex. It's perfectly fine. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go for. Let's see. Okay, so I think immediately I kind of have to go for the Terror. I kind of have to go for the Terror, yeah, because I need to make sure I can take the hit, is the issue. Now, I will say it's really annoying because either of these Pokemon could, and probably, there's a good chance that one of these Pokemon is sitting in Trick Room, and it's probably going to be the Calyrex, as Indeedee will most likely go for Follow Me. So I can't safely just go for the Taunt and stop Trick Room definitively there. But what I can do, though, is I can at least lean into this, and I can just make sure that Indeedee will die. Indeedee dying at least does have some benefits. For one, I can just go for, I can target the Koraidon on the following turn with my Amoonguss, which should be decent. Also, if they are going to go for like a Glacial Lance this turn and try and get cheeky with it and, you know, predict around me predicting Trick Room, that's fine. They might do that in theory, but I'd rather just kill the Indeedee. I think, because I think there are lines where Calyrex maybe just goes for an aggressive attack thinking that I'll target Indeedee, and then they try and go that way, and they go for like a really good offensive move like Lance, and then go for Trick Room with Indeedee. And at minimum, this stops that route of Trick Room, but if Calyrex is sitting Trick Room and they're going for Follow Me Indeedee, I'd never stop that, because this is the safer option, because this will eviscerate Indeedee. They're gonna go for Protecting Calyrex. Okay, perfect. So then, yeah, as I said, this was the only route where we guarantee actually stopped Trick Room, because Moonblast is gonna go off, and that's gonna do sizable damage. Flare Blitz going off as well here. It's more because of the fact that if they went for Terra Barrier and Indeedee, predicting around that, they would be able to actually take this hit. Indeedee doesn't run Terra Water though; it's always either Grass or Fairy. So I can confidently at least get a neutral stab off at best, well, at worst into Indeedee, and at best it's super effective. And it will deal more damage than Flame Charge, which Flame Charge probably would have killed. For what it's worth, I wasn't gambling though. I'm not a gambler right now. Right now though, I am gonna proceed to go for the. I'm gonna go for the Drain Punch here into the Urshifu, as I'm gonna go for a Taunt into the Calyrex. If they're going for Sucker Punch into my Flutter Mane, that's perfect. They're gonna go for Detect. Okay, Detect is valid. I totally get Detect, to be honest. Now I will say that they're probably gonna go for a Trick Room here. I feel confident in Trick Room play. If they're going for that though, that's fine. It's not the best position for me to be in, but it is fine technically by definition. I only lose, yeah, I would say I only lose letting them get up Trick Room, otherwise I'm fine. we're gonna go for a Drain Punch plus Icy Wind play here. That's mostly just to try and kill the Urshifu before it can Wicked Blow me. And if it's going for Sucker Punch, it's gonna be kind of weak. Not to say that it won't be threatening, but it will be kind of weak. And it will either do damage into Koraidon that I will probably recover with Drain Punch, or it's going to deal damage to Flutter Mane, and it will still have a Sash and die to Calyrex, which is fine. I don't really care. We are going to kill that Urshifu now, though. Oh my god, Urshifu survives. Okay, well, we will get up to at least full health on this, and the Scope Lens does pop. Is that Focus Sash? Did we miss Urshifu then? Hold on, did we miss Urshifu? Fucking hell, we missed Urshifu. I should have just Moonblast. I wanted to get more recovery back. But fuck, that Icy Wind miss hurts so much. What the fuck? Because I don't think Calyrex killed there without. What the fuck? I mean, I could have Moonblast, but I wanted the recovery here. I'm curious, actually. I'm really curious. Calyrex, Ice Rider actually would have killed there. Okay. Well, fuck. That's awful. That's really bad, yeah. For the record, Calyrex would not have killed there. Yeah, so if the Icy Wind hit, and again, it kind of needs to be Icy Wind because I need the recovery. That had to be the play. But if that just hit, I was fine. We're gonna go for Breaking Swipe because it will, at minimum, that is damage I can guarantee. And we're gonna go for Moonblast here into the Calyrex. They can't click Protect here on that Mon, which is fine. They could click on another Shifu still, but I don't really care because my play is always Detectless Moonblast as it's just more damage. We're gonna get off at probably at least out of half on Calyrex, which is valid. And then we can just go for this again on the following turn. They'll, to be fair, have potential for things like Protect, but I don't super mind. Oh my god, just like nothing. Okay, well, Horsepower isn't gonna kill anyway, which is actually really good for us, I can't lie. We're gonna go for a... We're gonna go for a Dragon Cheer and a Flutter Mane, and I'm gonna go for a taunt. Because I'm anticipating that Urshifu will go for Sucker Punch and pick off. Yep, Sucker Punch, perfect, okay. So Flutter Mane now at least is crit chance, which is huge. We're gonna get the taunt off. If they're gonna go for my Gouging Fire, that's actually really good because I can now crit through this, which is great. And if they are trying to go for Trick Room, then that's also really great. So we'll try and make that work either way. Also, actually, I don't know why they went for Sucker Punch here because they have Terrain up still. Harsh Sunlight faded. I think Trick Room does fade. Yep, Trick Room. Let's see. Trick Room, Photosynthesis is wearing off, and then yep. Okay, Terrain does wear off now finally. Okay. That's still fine. I'm gonna click Burning Bulwark here in case of like high horsepower, and I'm gonna go for an Icy Wind here because I didn't learn my lesson yet, and I want to just break down that Urshifu. Burning Bulwark is more so gonna be for like high horsepower because I'm pretty sure that's contact. I'm certain that's contact. Sucker Punch. Yep. Okay, perfect. They're trying to pick off Gouging Fire, which is great for us. Icy Wind will actually kill the Urshifu finally. Holy fuck. Yeah, I hate that I had to make this sequence of plays just to kill that Pokemon. Because that Urshifu put me in such an unnecessary position. To be fair, I could have probably went for the Breaking Swipe, but the crit chance is maybe going to be helpful for what it's worth. Lance is going to bring us down to at least Sash, which is annoying, but it's at least kind of fine. They probably have Torkoal as their last mon, and I can just start going for stuff like Snarl plus, probably Snarl plus Moonblast into the Calyrex, just to make sure that we're chipping it, and I think that might kill if we get a crit. They're going to go for Bonnet. Okay, Bonnet is fine. Oh wait, Bonnet might have Sucker still. We're gonna go for... Fuck it. We're gonna go for Moonblast, and I'm gonna go for Moonblast. Yeah, Moonblast plus Breaking Swipe here. Thankfully, they let me go for it. Can we get the crit? I think that wasn't a crit, but that should still be fine. I think Breaking Swipe might kill here. Oh my god, it doesn't kill. It doesn't kill! Fuck! Okay. That's so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. I feel like we were so robbed this game. We were absolutely robbed of this game. Alright, well, fuck it. I mean, we'll get another game in. We'll win in our final game of the day. But I feel like, again, that Icy Wind on Urshifu put us so far back. It really set us back because I needed to actually pursue crit there. I guess if I went for Breaking Swipe over Dragon Cheer, maybe that would have done something. But, like, at the same time, again, I unfortunately did not have a line. Like, I just don't think I had lines into this because of the fact that I missed that Icy Wind. Because it made my Koraidon fucking drop unnecessarily, which is so unfortunate. It is what it is. It could be worse. It could be worse, but fuck, that really sucks. Alright. Well, we'll see you guys in game number 4. All right, we're taking on, oh my goodness, we're taking on Pachirisu Turtle. That's kind of a fun way to end it. Apparently, someone actually made day 2 at Indy with Pachirisu, so we have to count them on now. It is technically real again. Okay, that's fine, honestly. I can go with a Gouging Fire Koraidon lead, and that should put up a lot of pressure into Turtle as well. Fluttermane could be decent, as well as the Raging Bolt. Well, actually, I'd probably go with Amoonguss, because Amoonguss with Spore could be kind of a decent win con. So I'm gonna pursue that, as I think that it does give me a lot of potential outs into the Turtle with this combination, and there's only so much the Turtle can do here, thankfully. So we will definitely take that. Good luck in front of my opponent, though. I am a little bit concerned. More just the fact that they do have decent follow me pressure, and like, yeah, they could just they have some weird stuff they can pursue. I won't act like it is the scariest team that we could be fighting, and I have no idea if it's even like a good team, to be completely honest, or like of the relevancy of Pachi outside of just like one player using it really well. But like, it is technically follow me, so we do technically need to respect it, and that also puts up decent pressure into our Raging Bolt as well, which is super unfortunate. So I can't actually bring Raging Bolt here, unfortunately, especially if it's like Terra Fairy. That becomes really nightmarish. They're gonna go Polytoad Rillaboom on lead, which is honestly not a big deal, because this does allow me a very free Dragon Cheer plus, it's definitely Dragon Cheer plus Protect. They're most likely going to go for Perish Song here, which is not the worst. Actually, hold on. So my play is to go for a... It's actually to go for a Breaking Swipe here, and then to just go for the... It's to go for the swap into Amoonguss, no, into Fluttermane. Because if they don't go for the Perish Song this exact turn, I can just taunt Politoed before it can do that, which should be decent for us. I'm kind of curious as to what they're going to go for this turn. My guess is, again, it's Fake Out and Perish Song to just try and phase out. Though I don't know if they're really going to try and clear through my rain immediately, so maybe they don't do that. Breaking Swipe, by the way, is going to be a great damage mitigator on the Rillaboom, which is huge, especially for my Fluttermane. It makes sure that we can take this hit a bit better. As for Politoed, it doesn't really matter. They're going to go for Weather Ball. Yeah, it's valid. Let's see. Okay, that still is the 3 KO, thankfully, because of our Dragon typing, which is really huge. So, we will definitely appreciate that. Let's see. So, we can just keep going for Breaking Swipe here, and then I think I just go for a taunt into the Politoed, and then I could probably go for Sunny Day on the next turn just to have it up. Now, to be fair, thankfully, they don't have backline rain here, which is great for us, because it means that Politoed is probably their only rain setter. Now, Politoed is very bulky, and to be fair, this duo in particular doesn't really kill it. I kind of do need Koraidon this game, unfortunately, as my means of killing this mon. But it should still be not a big deal. I think they do have to, at a certain point, switch out Politoed just to avoid losing it. So I will definitely take that. That is really good for us. And right now, at the very least, while we did get blocked by Politoed when trying to go for taunt here, it's not the biggest deal, because we can still kind of go for just the Breaking Swipe into Rillaboom, meaning that even Woodhammer is probably not going to do a lot of damage to us now, and they're probably going to U-turn out just to pivot again, which is fine. That's really good for us. They're going to knock off actually instead, which is still very fine. I don't really have any fear over knockoff whatsoever because we are Focus Sashed, so that is a pretty good benefit here. Alright, so let's see, looking at this, I think I'm just going to go for another Breaking Swipe, in all honesty. A Breaking Swipe plus a taunt into the Politoed. Actually, no. I'm going to go for a Moonblast here into the Politoed just for more damage. There's a good chance that Spot switches out anyway, again, just to try and keep advantage with the weather. So they're actually going to switch out the Rillaboom, which is decent. I get that. They're probably going into Turtle, or maybe... No, they're going into Archaludon. Okay, Archaludon's fine. At minimum, this Breaking Swipe is decent for the... Well, it's just decent chip, I guess. Doesn't really make a huge difference, frankly, because the fact that Archaludon is mostly running Special Moves and Body Press. But it's not bad. That's not terrible chip for what it's worth. That is now a okay weakened Archaludon, and this Politoed has taken at least some form of damage. It will probably kill my... Oh, no, it doesn't even kill Fluttermane. Okay, sweet. I can just go for Snarl plus Moonblast into Arch now. That'll weaken Politoed a bit at least, and I can... They're going to probably switch out Politoed, in all honesty, anyway. But the Snarl is still decent. It'll weaken any sort of dragon attacks that are going to Gouging Fire, which is decent to at least make sure that we can keep that mon alive, as it is our Dragon Cheer option. And it should allow Koraidon to potentially get a win here. Now, Snarl will at least be chip on Rillaboom. Again, it's not perfect, but it is objectively chip. This Moonblast will do decent. If they're going to go for Heavy Slam as well, we've already weakened that, thankfully, with the Stamina. Well, with, not the Stamina, the Breaking Swipe. And Snarl will be getting sort of special options like Flash Cannon. They're going to probably kill Flutter Mane regardless, but it is still decent for that, again, just to make sure that it is dealing less damage overall to incoming Pokemon. I'll probably go into Amoonguss on this next turn. They're going to go for Flash Cannon, it's fine. Yeah, so I'm probably going to go into Amoonguss and Spore that Archaludon, because that does allow, actually no, I kind of have to go Koraidon. Well, actually no, I could just go Amoonguss. Like, there's not really, they don't gain a lot from Fake Outing into Amoonguss anyway. So I think I'm going to do that. We'll back on Koraidon. The goal is going to be to kill 2 of these mons so we can get Politoed in. And I think that will be for the best. So we're going to Burning Bulwark here, as I am anticipating that they will most likely go for a Dragon type attack into my Gouging Fire. I'm anticipating they even go for like the Fake Out into that, which is really good for us, because they still haven't actually figured out Recover Cloak, to be fair, because they Fake Outed into the Koraidon spot in turn 1. So that works out really well for us, actually, as they will probably have to Fake Out this to just avoid it killing their team, because they don't know my moveset. They do not know my moveset. They only know that we have Snarl and Breaking Swipe here. They might even assume that we're like Assault Vest. I'm kind of curious if they do, because if that's their assumption, they always actually probably go for the Fake Out to avoid Koraidon coming in and massacring their Archaludon here, because that would definitely be a free kill if they're anticipating like a Heat Crash, for example, or like a Flare Blitz, or even like a Tantrum. So they're gonna switch out Archaludon actually, which is perfectly fine. If they go back into Politoed, I could probably just go back into my Koraidon and get a nice advantage. They're going to go into Politoed. Okay, that's really good, actually. We've now slept the Politoed too, which is a great piece to sleep, as that's a decent Weather Ball abuser. Especially if I do go for Terra on my Koraidon later on, which could be an option, but I don't know if I'll need to. Their Grassy Glide is whatever. It's not a big concern. The Spore into Politoed, though, will be decent. That is a decent mod to Spore. And I can just continue to go for like a Breaking Swipe plus Pollen Puff combination and just apply pressure to their team. They'll probably switch out of Politoed just to get rain advantage back, but that's okay. I'm not too concerned here, because thankfully, at the very least, this duo is decent long term. I'm not really too concerned, and the weather is only so scary here. So we're gonna go for Breaking Swipe here, as it is just decent at reducing health, and we're gonna go for a Pollen Puff here into the Rillaboom. They're gonna probably switch out Rillaboom, which is fine. It's probably gonna be to, oh no, they're not gonna switch out Rillaboom. Okay, well that's fine. I'm actually really curious as to why they didn't switch out Rillaboom here, because I feel like Rillaboom just doesn't do a lot to either of these options. I'm curious if they're going to U-turn, or maybe like go for a knockoff. They are going to go for knockoff. Okay, knockoff is fair. I can get knockoff, to be fair. It's not the best click, but I can get knockoff. Also, I finally realized we got you very sports for Kyogre. It's for Kyogre. Ice Beam Kyogre. That's definitely what it's for. Okay, that's valid. That's honestly valid. We're going to go for Snarl here, because I am anticipating the Rillaboom to swap here into Archaludon, just so they can get back up to Rain, because they're really weak right now. They might just keep Rillaboom in, to be fair, and switch out Politoed, but even still, that's fine, because this combination will still probably kill Rillaboom regardless. My goal, again, is just to get Koraidon in without having to worry about the weather going away. So, we're weakening Politoed at minimum. Rillaboom will die to this turn, and barring a U-turn out of this, but that just means that they're going to go, okay, they're going to go for Wooding. Yeah, they're definitely dying, which is still fine. That's still really good for us. Politoed will probably wake up. I can't imagine it's not going to wake up, but that's okay. I can kill it with the Snarl on the following turn. Ooh, they're gonna go for Perish. Okay, Perish is fine. At minimum, their Rillaboom dies, and they only have the Archaludon on one of their Pokemon, which is probably Turtle. Oh my god, they don't die. Okay. So this Rillaboom is probably AV. I feel confident that the Rillaboom, or actually no, Rillaboom or Archaludon, one of them is definitely AV. I 100% target that Rillaboom spot though with the combination of Snarl and I feel like Spore into that, it's fine. Because Rillaboom definitely does not protect. They've already revealed knockoff, Grassy Glide, and Woodhammer. They definitely have Fake Out as that last move. I feel very confident that last move is not protect of all things. It might even be taunt, but it is not protect. So they're gonna swap here, perfect. Okay, so either we're gonna kill the whatever Pokemon comes in, which I'm gonna guess is not what we're gonna do. But at minimum, this is a free Spore. It's a free Spore, so I'm perfectly fine with that. Politoed doesn't die, but neither does the Archaludon, so we can at least, at the very least, we're dropping both offensives. Politoed, meanwhile, still isn't going to do any real damage to us. They're going to still go for Weather Ball, though. I'm curious if they were predicting any sort of swap here. I mean, either way, Weather Ball doesn't really do any damage, and we Spore the Archaludon, which is really good. That is objectively really huge for us. Now, I can switch out of my Amoonguss at this point, and probably just go for a Breaking Swipe this turn, because I've already gotten the Archaludon weakened offensively. On top of this as well, I mean, they're gonna probably die to Breaking Swipe at least on that. If they do get the advantage back with the weather, that's fine. I can just switch out Gouging Fire and then switch into Gouging Fire again and just kind of shuffle that way. But I don't know if it's going to matter at this point for what it's worth. If I can kill Politoed, that's huge. That is objectively really huge because I can then just guarantee my weather advantage. But I don't know if they're going to let me. I think they're going to click Protect here. I'm very confident they're going to click Protect here. This will work out well either way. Photosynthesis is pop. It's boost your speed though, so it doesn't really make a huge difference in our damage. We're still not going to do a lot. We're going to hopefully kill the Politoed though. Politoed does die. Okay, perfect. So at this point, I just go for Dragon Cheer and I just start claiming kills because this Koraidon is officially a menace. I don't even need to really click Protect because if I just Terra Fire, I'm not really scared of anything that Archaludon is going to go for. They're going to be put to sleep. That is fine. Let's see. Yeah, I let Gouging Fire go down actually in favor of going for that Dragon Cheer. Which should be decent for us. They're gonna go into Turtle, that's fine. Yeah, Dragon Cheer plus Drain Punch into Turtle, I think is my best play. Just to make sure that we are getting off some serious damage into that. This also gives us a really high chance of crit, which is good. And it should actually be like guaranteed crit for what it's worth because of the scope lens plus the +2. And then I can potentially go for another Drain Punch just right into that, or even just under the Archaludon to be fair. Like I have options. At minimum, though, the Turtle is not going to get set up enough to actually do serious damage to my team, which is huge. It is still a decent threat, though, because it can clear my Sun, but it's not going to matter a lot when I'm spamming crit. So I'm kind of okay with that. Terrashill will weaken my Drain Plunge, but it's not a huge concern because I'll still, again, do real damage to this. Like, that's huge. That is objectively huge damage. We didn't crit. Oh, no, we did crit. Okay. That's still really good. I can Snarl at this point and then go for a Drain Punch because at least that will weaken it back to neutral, which means it's probably not going to kill. Does Arch wake up? If Arch doesn't wake up, that's huge for us. It doesn't wake up. That's actually really huge. I feel pretty bad for my opponent there, but it had to happen. It had to happen. Gouging Fire does die here, which is unfortunate, but it's not a huge concern. I can bring back in Amoonguss here and go for... I can just go for a... I can go for a Spore into the Turtle, I think is my best play. By Sporing the Turtle and then going for the Drain Punch on the Archaludon, I'm confident that my Koraidon will take one hit. I don't know if it'll take two, but it will definitely take one hit. And then I can probably from there just go lean heavily into my damage and go for a, probably like, I don't know, I'd probably just go for Drain Punch. Honestly, when they Terra, they kind of get fucked, officially. They really get fucked. So I'm fine with that. They're going to go for Turtle. They're going for the Terra on Turtle too, so they're trying to weaken my Sun, which is fine. I still have crit, so I'm going to crit through the Archaludon. Because they didn't Terra Fairy, they're really dropping Archaludon here, which is good for me. That is really good for me. On the next turn, I can then just go for a Drain Punch into the Terapagos, which is also going to be huge because I'm going to have a full health. I'm going to have a full health Koraidon here. They could just eviscerate this because even without the Sun, which the Sun being gone is huge, but it's also now a super effective attack again instead of a resisted attack, which is a much like that's 4 times the damage right there. Well, it's probably closer to like 3 times after the collision. Well, after the wait, never mind, because I'm not collision course. Then yeah, no, it's probably about 4 times the damage, yeah. And that also, collision course is also just a stronger move, keep in mind. So that's really good. Oh shit, they're Lum. Oh no, they're Chesto. That's really bad actually. Okay. My play is to go for a it's still to go for Spore into the thing. It's to go for Spore. Because I specifically need to go for Spore and Protect. My plan here is just to avoid Fake Out. Because Fake Out is really bad for me. If they don't go for... Well, if even after this turn, I should be fine. Because I just need... Even if Amoonguss does die to, let's say, like a dual target, they're going to Fake Out. Okay, perfect. Yeah, because this was the only line where I lost if I lost Koraidon this turn. Which Fake Out does actually enable them to do. They're going to go for Flamethrower. That's psychotic, but I fuck with it. I fuck with it heavy because this is at least an option that in theory can technically damage Pelipper. Which is something. That is something. It is better than Earth Power technically because of that. We're going to get some nice recovery though. And I can definitely kill Turtle at this point. I'm very confident I kill Turtle. Yeah, so we're going to go for the Turtle kill. The Drain Punch will 100% damage this. And I'll get back up to full too, which is great because even with the single target, I'm going to be fine. They have Calm Mind, Starstorm, Flamethrower. I'm not really scared. Perfect, Drain Punch kills. Sweet, okay. So the Dragon Cheer Dragon Cheer is popping off, thankfully, because again, we're guaranteeing crit, which is helping us keep up damage against this because of the fact that we've lost our sun. Like the turtle's really bulky, and the fact that we're not boosted at all, like that is a really big buff for us. At this point, the Rillaboom definitely does lose, which is great. That is huge for us. We can kill Rillaboom. I'll Terrify Flare Blitz just for the fuck of it. If they let me pop it off, they let me pop it off. If not, they don't. And I'm kind of fine either way, because realistically, this is still like a really strong option that we have. So we're gonna go for the Flare Blitz here. They're gonna cancel battle. That's fine. Great way to end off though. We went 2-2 for the day. I will definitely take that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you want to see more content like this, like and subscribe for more, as we upload a ton of VGC content just like this. Also, consider becoming a channel member, as for just a couple dollars a day, you get some nice bonus content that is hopefully going to be options that you like. I mean, I let channel members pick, and also for any time that we do a builder for a team that is something that I've actually built, it's a channel member video. And we actually do have a team built around Kyogre that should be going up in a couple days. It's either going to be tomorrow's upload or the day after. I'm not sure which. Jerry's still out. But regardless though, hopefully you guys enjoy that. Our current members are Zeke, Mia, Rasagra, Obo, Endless Gadgets, Incog M, Randy Chappa, and our bigger fan, Josh K. Ultra Player. Thank you guys so much for your support. And with that said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, peace out, guys.